Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my everyday makeup drawer for fall 2019. I thought I would share the products that I'm planning on using for the fall season, but also how I'm currently storing my everyday makeup. So I used to keep it in my vanity, but I've switched it up. I actually like to do my makeup standing just because I do sit for a lot of the day. So it's nice to be able to kind of kick off the day standing, and it's really convenient to keep my makeup in my actual makeup collection. So I keep everything inside my Alex 6 drawers. These store my entire makeup collection. I just have them stacked on top of each other. They're from IKEA. I know they were really big years ago on YouTube, and I know they're not trendy. They're a little bit ugly, and honestly, I bought them years ago, and I'm not about to replace them just because they're not in style anymore. They were expensive, and they store makeup perfectly fine. So I actually still love mine. Anyways, in the top two drawers, I have all of my go-to products that I will be using for the next few months. So in the top drawer, I have foundations, powders, primers, and eye products. These are the products that I reach for mostly on like an everyday basis, and they are just really easy to grab. I just open up that drawer. And then in the second drawer, I have like cheek products, blushes, bronzers, highlighters, lip products, and eyeshadow palettes. So I do have quite a few products. I do switch up my makeup seasonally just so I can get the chance to use everything in my collection. I have a mix, so I have products that I use all the time. I have some newer products that I'm testing out, and then I have older products that I haven't reached for in a while. And this really gives me the chance to see if I still love everything in my collection. And if I don't reach for it during the time that it's in my everyday makeup drawer, I end up decluttering it. I will say the lighting is a little bright in this video. I didn't realize until I went to edit it, so I'll work on that for the next video. But on top of my vanity, I just have a few essentials. So I have my e.l.f. makeup remover pens. I don't know why 3 of them are open, but they are. I have my sunscreens. I have some from Coola, Drunk Elephant, and then I have 2 setting sprays, Urban Decay and the Ofra Makeup Fixer, which I haven't tried yet. That's on my list to try this month. And then I have all of my ColourPop lippy pencils. These are my favorite lip liners. They're the only lip liners that I use other than the occasional Charlotte Tilbury lip liner, but they work perfectly well. They have a color for everything, so I love using those whenever I need a lip liner. Okay, let's jump into the first drawer, and I'll kick it off with primers. So I do have my e.l.f. Oil Control Priming Mist, which was my go-to during the summertime. I don't know if I'll use it as much during the fall, but we still have some warm days, so I have been reaching for it fairly often. I also have my Fenty primer, which this one is actually in my project pan. I've really been liking this one, but I don't think I'll end up repurchasing it once I finish up this like deluxe size sample, but I am trying to use it up. I put the Smashbox Primerizer back in my drawer, and I'm so excited. I haven't used this for the majority of the summer because I did run out of it, and I kind of replaced it with my e.l.f. Oil Control Primer Mist, but this is an absolute fall staple for me. It's very moisturizing, very lightweight, and it is one of my favorite products. I got this primer, the Touch in Sol No Problem Prime Essence, in a BoxyCharm. I've used it a few times, but I haven't really made up my mind about it, so I do want to give it a fair shot during the next few months. It's a very lightweight primer. It feels almost like a water, which that's typically a texture that I do like, but I haven't really been able to tell if it makes a difference. So I'll keep you guys posted. That is something that I'm really focusing on. The Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer is one of my favorites when I just feel like my skin needs a nice smooth base. And then I have a couple of hydrating primers. I have used the Flower Beauty and the Catrice primer, and I love both of those, but the NYX primer is new to my collection. So I just kind of want to use all 3 of them for the next few months, see if there's one that's better than the others. I don't think I actually need all 3 in my collection, but I'm curious to see how the formulas compare. So that's it for primers. Okay, moving on to concealers. My favorite is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. That is my go-to. It is the one that I reach for the most often. So of course I have that in my drawer, but I do have a couple of others that I want to use. So I have the Urban Decay Stay Naked, which I've actually been liking as well, but on those hot summer days, it came in handy because it stayed in place so well. I don't know if it will be too heavy for the fall season, but I have been really liking it. I've also really been loving the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. The shades that I had were too light, so I got the shade Light Beige, and that one works perfectly for me. It does stay in place really well. It's a little bit thinner than the Urban Decay concealer, but again, it does give really nice coverage. I do have the Fenty concealer, which is currently in my project pan. I'm actually trying to use it up. It's not my favorite. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just have so many concealers that I love that this is one that I don't reach for as often, but I wear the shade 150. So the new concealer that I am testing out is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Hydrate. I have the shade C57. I actually have not worn it at all. When I filmed this video, today, this was the first time that I swatched it, and it feels really nice. I actually tried out the foundation quite a few times, and I am going to include it in an upcoming video, but I love the Conceal and Hydrate foundation, so I have high hopes for the concealer. I'll definitely keep you guys posted, but it does feel like a nice hydrating formula. I just hope that it doesn't crease too much. Okay, so moving on to foundation. I have the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation in the shade Light Beige, which is a little bit too light for me. I do need to purchase a darker shade, although at this point I feel like I'm probably losing my tan. So this has been my go-to throughout the past few months, but I do have a couple of other ones that I've been loving, including the Urban Decay Stay Naked. I wear the shade 30YW, which works well. This foundation does oxidize a little bit, but it's a nice everyday option, and I have a feeling it's going to be a staple for the fall season because it just looks so pretty on the skin. I have two Makeup Revolution foundations. So I have the original Conceal and Define. I wear the shade 8.5, and this one is perfect when I want a lightweight matte foundation. But I have been testing out the Conceal and Hydrate, and I have the shade 5.7. The shade range is confusing because technically this is lighter than the matte foundation, but it's also very yellow toned. I've had such a hard time finding my perfect shade in their foundation ranges, but honestly, this formula is amazing. I have been loving it so much. I don't think I've talked about it in a video yet, so I will film a video for you guys very soon. The Conceal and Hydrate is on the bottom for these swatches, and the matte foundation is on top. But I can't believe how good it looks on the skin. So again, I will talk about it more in an upcoming video, but that is in my drawer for the fall season. I've also been enjoying the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. I had this in my drawer, but the shade that I had was way too light, so I actually purchased deeper shades. So I'm kind of mixing two right now. I'm mixing vanilla and sand. Sand is a little bit too neutral, and vanilla is a little bit too light, so that works well for me. But this is a really good everyday foundation. I just filmed a video using it, so I'll link that below. The only foundation in my drawer that I haven't tried is this one from Fenty Beauty. I've had this for a little while, but I've been really testing out the Makeup Revolution foundation, so I actually haven't tried this one yet, but this is on my list to try. It is supposed to be a really hydrating formula. It feels nice. I've swatched it a few times, so I actually need to apply it to the face, see how it wears, and again, I will film a video on this foundation very soon as well. I feel like just from swatching them next to each other that the Makeup Revolution could be a dupe. Don't take my word for it yet, but I'll be testing them side by side to see if that's true. Okay, so I do have quite a few powders in my collection, as I always do. I have the Too Faced Peach Perfect loose setting powder, which I'm almost done with. I can't believe that I've almost finished this up because it feels like the never-ending powder, but that's been my go-to during the summer season. And then as for my other loose powders, I have my Fenty powder, which I do like. A few of you guys have asked me if I like this better than the Too Faced powder. I don't. I like the Too Faced powder better, but I do still like this one. I wear the shade Butter. And then I'm almost finished with my ColourPop No Filter Setting Powder as well. This is in my project pan. I do love this, but I feel like it's very similar to other powders that I have, including like the Cover FX Setting Powder. So I'm not going to run out and repurchase it, but I do really enjoy it. I'm just trying to use it up because it is one of my older products. I did purchase the Hourglass powder in Diffused Light, which I love so much. I kind of went back and forth because it is a little bit pricey, so I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it. I bought it during the VIB sale, and I love using it under my eyes to brighten everything up. I do use it as more of a finishing powder, though, rather than a setting powder. So I've been testing out this one from Physicians Formula. It's called the Healthy Powder, and I really like this so far. It's very lightweight. It reminds me a lot of the Flower Beauty powder, but I think it's even lighter. So I'm planning on filming a video on my favorite new drugstore products. It should be up at the end of the month, but I just want to give myself another week or two to test out a few more products. I also have my Flower Beauty Light Illusion powder, which I do love using on days where I want a little extra coverage. I wonder if Flower Beauty is leaving Ulta because I noticed that like all of their products are discounted on the Ulta website or out of stock. So I don't know if that's true, but I just thought I would ask in case any of you guys heard anything. I have the Urban Decay All Nighter. I might take this one out, but it is still warm occasionally. So this is great for days where it's really hot. It is a summer essential for me, but as we're kind of in like that transitioning period between summer and fall, I might still reach for it a few times, but I'll probably end up taking it out at the end of September. Honestly, same with the Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder. I love this, but I more so reach for it during the summertime. So again, I'll probably take these two powders out once like those hot summer days are all the way gone. We only get them occasionally, but I do love having like a good mattifying powder for those days. The last powder is the Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten. This is in my project pan and I'm almost done with it. This is the Never Ending powder. It's really good and I love it, but it has lasted me such a long time. So if you want your money's worth, this is a product to go for. It's a great powder foundation, or you can set it on top of foundation if you want a little more coverage. I have this random Drunk Elephant Lippy Balm. I just kind of threw that in my drawer because I do have lip balms like all over my house. And then moving on to eye products. So these are the products that I reach for most often. I have the Urban Decay Primer Potions. I have Eden, and then I also have the original. I also have the CoverGirl Lid Lockup Primer, which is great if I want a little bit more of a sticky eyeshadow base. So I do currently have 3 mascaras that are open. I have the Flower Beauty Warrior Princess, which I love using all the time. It's my favorite. I love using it on the bottom lashes, the top lashes. I currently have lash extensions, so I'm not really using these very much, but they were open before I did get my lash extensions put back on. The CoverGirl Exhibitionist, which is similar, and then also the Too Faced Damn Girl. I should probably declutter this one because it's been open for a while, and I really don't use this one on the bottom lashes, but I love it for the top lashes when I want a really dramatic look. Okay, so I have a couple of eyeliners that are currently open. My all-time favorite is the Urban Decay Perversion. I discovered this probably either in the spring or the beginning of the summer, and nothing compares. It's so rich and dramatic. It stays in place so well, but I do have a couple of others that I use on occasion. This one is from Physicians Formula. This is nice. It works really well. I also have the ColourPop Liquid Liner, which is a great felt tip liner. This one is in my project pan, so I do need to make sure that I use it up, but I do like both of those as well. I got the Hank and Henry eyeliner in my BoxyCharm. I probably should have waited to open this one, but I didn't realize that I had so many open. So because I did open it, I will test it out and see if it is a good option. So for brows, I have my ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. I don't know why 2 of these are open as well. I have so many like random products open, and I think it's just because I was out of town for a lot of August. So when I was home, I don't know, everything was just kind of a mess. So I ended up with multiple products open, but I will use these up. That won't be an issue. I'm also testing out the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow because again, I am working on that best new drugstore products video, so I'll save my thoughts for that video, but it should be up within the next week or 2. I did get a few Hourglass brow products sent to me in the mail, so I thought I would test out their brow gel as well as a few of their brow pencils, which I'll get to in a second. I haven't tested this out at all, so I can't even give you my initial thoughts, but I will keep you guys posted and let you know if it's worth the money. And then as for brow pencils, I'm currently using this e.l.f. brow pencil. I just bought this at the drugstore the other day, and my CoverGirl brow pencil, which has been my favorite. I finished up quite a few Anastasia brow pencils, so in the meantime, I'm going to switch to these 2. And then I have my Urban Decay Brow Blade, which is one of my favorite products. It has a brow pencil and then also more of like a liquid liner side, and I talk about it all the time, but I just love it so much. And then these are the Hourglass brow products that I was talking about. They have a thinner pencil and then also a thicker pencil, but again, I haven't tested them out. I have the shade Dark Brunette, so I will let you guys know how they compare to my Anastasia Brow Wiz and then also my more affordable drugstore favorites as well. Okay, let's move on to my favorite part of the video, eyeshadow palettes. Again, the lighting is a little bit off, so I apologize for that. I tried to do my best to correct it in editing, but they might look slightly brighter than they actually are. So the Urban Decay Born to Run just kind of screams fall to me. I feel like it's such a great option for the fall season, and I can't wait to use it more. So I did pull that one out of my regular makeup collection and put it in my everyday makeup drawer. The ColourPop Good Sport palette also just kind of screams fall to me. I haven't used this one a ton. I don't know why. For some reason, it just hasn't really been one that I've reached for on like an everyday basis. So I do want to make an effort to use it more during the fall season. I also have the Persona Identity palette. This one is a little bit more subdued, a little bit more muted. So it's great for days where I don't want like super intense bright eyeshadow. One of my current favorites is the ColourPop Honey palette. I just love this. I never thought I would be into yellow eyeshadow, but it's so much fun to wear, and this palette just wants me, or just makes me want to wear yellow eyeshadow like every single day. I did film a review on the Kathleen Lights ColourPop So Jaded palette. I do love this palette. I think it's really nice, and if you want to check out my full review, including 2 different looks, I'll link that in the description box below, but I've been enjoying this one. I think there are a lot of pretty colors in here for fall as well. So when I filmed that video, I mentioned that there were quite a few dupes for that palette in the Disney Villains Misunderstood palette from ColourPop. I haven't used this one a whole lot. I just actually got it like a few months ago, so I thought it would be fun to incorporate into my makeup collection as well. And then I have my Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. This is kind of a little bit more of like a summery palette for me, but there are a lot of gorgeous shades in here that I'm sure I'll love to use for the fall season as well. So that is it for palettes. I only have a few bronzers. My favorite is the Balm's Take Home the Bronze. This one is like my go-to bronzer. It's just very blendable. It's great if I want to do more of like a bronzer slash contour, but I also love e.l.f.'s Primer Infused Bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. This one is very blendable, very smooth. This one is a great everyday option. And then I've had this Milani bronzer in my everyday makeup drawer for a while, but I haven't really given it a fair shot. A lot of people say it's a dupe for the Fenty bronzer, which I actually didn't like, so I'm not sure if I'll love this one. I have the lightest shade, but because I did buy it, I thought I would test it out and see if it's worth recommending. So moving on to blush, I do have quite a few blushes in my drawer. I have a few that I love and then a few that I'm trying to decide if they're worth keeping. I haven't used this one from the Balm in a really long time, so I thought I would give it another shot. I do love this duo from Cover FX. This has been one of my favorite blush formulas, and I would love to try more, but for now I do have enough blush in my makeup collection, and I'm just enjoying this one. This one's in Soft Peach. And then I have the Natasha Denona Duo Glow, which is such a pretty, like, glowy, shimmery blush. I think it's so much fun. It was kind of more of a summer staple, so I don't know how much I'll use it during the fall season, but I do love the formula. I have, like, all of my Hourglass blushes in my drawer. They're my favorite. I just love how they look on the cheeks. I'm more of a subtle blush fan, so that's why I keep them in my drawer. I've actually really been enjoying Brilliant Nude, though. I do want to throw that out there. This is a little bit more of a shimmery blush because they do have their regular ambient lighting blushes, which are more subtle like this one. And then they also have their strobe lighting blushes, which have some actual shimmer mixed in, like this one. And I've really been enjoying the strobe lighting blushes lately, which typically I'm more of a fan of the ambient lighting blushes. But honestly, the Hourglass blush formula is so gorgeous. If you like a nice subtle blush, then I think you'll enjoy them, but I just can't get enough of them. So I also have some of my Too Faced what are these called? Tutti Frutti blushes. This one is in Papaya Pop, Papaya Punch. Usually I'm more on the ball in this. I can't remember the exact name. This one is in Apricot in the Act, and I do like these as well when I want a little bit more of an intense shimmery blush look. I have a few e.l.f. Primer Infused blushes. This one is in Always Rosy, and then I also have Always Cheeky. So Physicians Formula sent me some products, including some of their new butter blush shades. I filmed a video ranking my blushes, and my big complaint with the butter blushes were that a lot of the shades were very subtle and not great for all skin tones, but they do have some darker shades. So I thought I would test them out. The first one is in the shade Copper Cabana, and then I also have Beachy Peach, which is a little bit lighter, and then the last one is in Saucy Mauve, which is more of like a shimmery mauve tone. What a great description. Here are some swatches. This will probably be more helpful than me trying to describe the actual shades, but that first shade, Copper Cabana, is pretty deep, so I do think there are some better alternatives rather than the lighter shades that were like their original releases. I have my Buxom blush. I only kept one of the Primer Infused blushes in my drawer. This one is in the shade Seychelles. That's my go-to. And then I have one Tarte blush. This one's in the shade Party. I've actually been using this on like an everyday basis. I've been neglecting the rest of my blushes and using this one because it does have really good color payoff, but I like the formula a lot. So moving on to highlighters. The first one is the Ofra Samantha March collab, which I do love. It's very intense and very beautiful on the skin. I think she did such a great job with this. I love that there are 2 colors combined, which I don't typically love in cheek products, but I think it's fun for a highlighter because the pans are big enough that you can use them separate or mix them together. I also have the Ofra highlighter in the shade Rodeo Drive, which is one of my go-to golden highlighters. These e.l.f. highlighters are somewhat new to my collection. They are the metallic flare highlighters. I have 24 karat gold, and then I also have white gold. I've been testing these out and I like them a lot. They're a little bit less intense than I thought they were going to be, which is what I actually prefer. If you really like work the product into the brush and then apply it, you can get a pretty intense look, but for like everyday wear, if I just use my brush and like lightly run it over the product, you get a nice natural glow. And I like them because they're not powdery, so they don't look heavy on the skin. Of course, I have a few Becca highlighters. I have Champagne Pop, which is my other favorite gold highlighter. I love Champagne Pop and I love Rodeo Drive. Those are my two favorite golden highlighters. And then I also have Becca's Opal, which is one of my favorite highlighters as well. So I'm currently testing out these CoverGirl highlighters. This one is in the shade Gilded Glory because I am working on that drugstore video. And then I also have this shade, which is called Rose Quartz. I haven't made my mind up about these. I'm still testing them. I'm actually planning on testing out quite a few CoverGirl products for an upcoming CoverGirl video because I've tested a lot that I love, but they have a pretty big line, including quite a few products that I've never tried. So I'm working on a CoverGirl favorites video. It will probably be another month or two before I get to film that one, but if you have any recommendations, I would love to know. Okay, the last highlighter is this one from Laura Geller. I just got it in my BoxyCharm. I had this a long time ago. These were so popular. I think this one is in the shade, I want to say Gilded Honey. And I tested it out again because I did get it in my BoxyCharm and I love it. I remember why everybody was obsessed with these, so I am excited to use this one and have it in my collection again. I just have 3 face palettes. I know it feels like I have so many products in my drawer, but I don't think I'm planning on switching it up again until December. So I have my Hourglass ambient lighting palette from last year. I have this one from Cover FX that I got in a BoxyCharm, and I haven't really used it very much, so I need to decide if I want to keep it. And then I have this one from Catrice, which I am testing out because, again, another video that I'm planning is a Catrice video. Apparently, I'm just sharing all of my plans for videos with you guys, but I feel like drugstore videos are kind of what are on my mind right now, so if you have anything else you want to see, let me know. All right, let's finish up with lip products. So I have a few Buxom glosses. These have been some of my favorites because they have really good color payoff. So when I want to wear a gloss, which is what I typically want to wear, but I want a little bit more color, these are great. I have these Dominique Cosmetics glosses that I got in subscription boxes, but I haven't really worn them, so I can't really share how I feel about them. So I want to make sure I give them a fair shot. I have this Too Faced gloss in the shade Peachsicle, which is one of my favorites. And then I have this nude gloss that I got in a BoxyCharm that I haven't tried yet. I've really been enjoying this e.l.f. clear lip lacquer on days where I just want to line my lips and throw on a clear gloss. And then I have my Milani Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumpers, which I've been loving these so much. I think they're such a great option from the drugstore. As for lipstick, I just have my Too Faced Natural Nudes lipsticks. I haven't really been putting too many actual like lipsticks in my everyday makeup drawer just because I can just pull my drawer open right underneath this one and pull out any lipstick that I want to wear. But you guys, I've been loving these ColourPop Just a Tint lip products. I've probably been wearing these and the Milani lip glosses the most over the past few months. The ColourPop Just a Tint lip products are so perfect. They're going to be my favorite for the fall season. I just have 2 in my drawer, but I do have quite a few of these like all over the place, in my car, in my purse, because they're so easy to throw on and they're incredibly comfortable. And then randomly I have a Charlotte Tilbury lip liner because that's the only other lip liner that I typically wear other than ColourPop. So that is it. That is the end of my video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm excited to get back to filming these videos. I think it's fun to give you guys a look at the products that I currently love and I use all the time, but also the products that I will be testing out and apparently videos that I have planned for the future. But if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know and I'll be sure to keep filming them. But otherwise, I'll see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye.